and try them out before you purchase them. So after I got my arch supports, the arches on my feet stopped hurting. Literally instantly went away. So if you have pain, go. Find a good feet store and go. There is an answer. Find the simple solution that will get rid of your pain. I'm Rondi, and that's my good.
Game Night is presented by Power Business Technology, your locally owned and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Contact them at 844-POWER-BZ or visit them at powercopiers.com. Here's your host, Scott Marsh, alongside the high flyer, Henry Turner.
And a very pleasant good afternoon to you. Welcome into Game Night, coming to you live from the Sactown Sports 1140 studios. Scott Marsh along with the high flyer, Henry Turner. Hopefully you are starting your Thanksgiving holiday early. Perhaps you're out on the road. If it's a little frustrating, I know there might be some traffic out there on a Wednesday afternoon. Just take it easy, chill. We've got you covered. Sit back, relax. We'll take you until 4:30 today, getting you ready for the Kings and the Pels part 2. Hopefully it's nothing like part 1 on Monday night. Ooh, for sure.
Lord.
That was ugly. Kings Live pregame at 4:30, and then the tip 5 o'clock tonight. The G-Man with the call, so you can take us with you wherever you're heading to celebrate your Thanksgiving holiday. High flyer, Mondays are days you just like to forget about, and we'll try to. But the problem is we're playing the Pelicans again, so we can't really forget about what happened on Monday, that 129-93 blowout.
Oh, well, Scott, I will say this. It wasn't the fact that it was a Monday, okay?
Okay.
It's just that game.
All right, fair enough.
That we want to throw away.
I don't usually like Mondays anyway, so, but you're right.
I tell you, it wasn't
Can't
Monday.
blame the day.
It wasn't Monday, bro. It was the game, and it was the 2 games in Houston. Don't know what days they were, but it was those 3 games.
Well, I hate to say it, but one of those days was a Monday in Houston as well.
Hey, whatever it was, those 3 games, we wish we could just throw those away.
Yeah.
You can throw any excuse out there you want to for the Sacramento Kings, Scott, but in all true reality, there is no excuse.
Yeah.
There is no excuse.
Yeah.
You can lose a basketball game, but you can't lose like that. I said the exact same way about Houston.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot let a team just run you out the gym the way that they did. And really, hopefully, the Kings had a chance to sit there in New Orleans and get to watch a lot. I'm talking a lot. If I was Coach Brown, I would have had everybody's room TV linked together, and we would have just looped that third quarter over and over.
That Xbox,
and over
that Play Game 5, it was all linked on video from Monday night.
Exactly. And we looping it all night because you have to watch that. Because, that's the only thing that's going to really get these guys to react. You really have to see and understand and accept the mistakes that you made.
Yeah, no doubt. There was a lot, obviously, to choose from, unfortunately, for the Kings. It just wasn't a good effort. Now, things started out okay for them. I mean, they led after a quarter 31-29. That second quarter, Zion Williamson did anything and everything he wanted to. And in the third quarter, Brandon Ingram looked like the only player on the floor.
Ooh-wee. He was the only player on the court doing something.
Yeah.
You know, I want to say that New Orleans came out and they set the tone. They hit and they hit hard. And, you know, to the Kings' credit, you got to give them this, they responded. The Kings got back, all right? You know, they took the punch, responded, and came back. Just that second quarter, somebody said, hey, Zion, you can get to the basket and score.
Right.
And nothing wrong with him scoring, Scott. All great players score.
Sure.
But it's the way he scored.
Time and time again.
Left, to the bucket, left, to the bucket. You know, I'm screaming, fellas, I think he's going left. I really do. I might want to get on that left-hand side. I know he's a Mack truck, but that truck only goes left. It don't steer right.
It was so obvious to anybody. You didn't need a basketball degree to figure out what was going on out there. And to the point, why couldn't the Kings make an adjustment? Obviously, they have the game plan. We know they're well prepared. We understand all of that, but there was no adjustment whatsoever. Well, or it didn't seem like it.
Well, let me say this, Scott. When you have a talent such as a Zion Williamson, you have to have somebody that's going to be willing to give up the body. You have to be able to match his physicality, and I know it's tough. It's tough. Let's just throw it out there. The dude's a little Hulk.
Easier said than done.
Yes, it definitely isn't easy.
No.
But, you know, he's only 6'4", right? But he jumps out the gym. That's another thing, too.
Yeah.
But you're going to have to match his physicality because if you don't, about time he body you and then explode, it's over.
It's way over. And the Kings were way over by the time it was all said and done, 129-93. Lots of ways to be a part of the program today. We want you to be a part. Give us a call, 916-339-1140. You can text us as well. If you want to join us in the chat room, we're up and running on YouTube at Sactown Sports 1140. Get into the chat as well. We will entertain your thoughts in there, particularly during the breaks. We'll be continuing our conversation live there during the commercial breaks on air. For the Kings, it just felt like, obviously, the Pelicans were running different sets. We get that. But at the end of the day, why not just stand on the right side of the key, knowing he's coming that way? Why not overshadow him so much that the only way he could go is right-handed?
You know, I'm with that, Scott. You send him to his weak hand, and he went to his weak hand a couple of times.
And he probably scored that way also.
No. Yeah, twice in the first quarter and missed both of them.
Okay.
They cut off the left-hand side. He tried to score with the right. He missed both of them. But the thing about it is that you're going to have one person that's going to have to make Zion field them from the gate. And you might need a big boy to be standing at the rim saying, okay, once you explode and get to this rim, I'm going to meet you here.
Okay, so the $1 million question for tonight's game, of course, and we know that Keegan Murray is not playing out with the back, did not go through the walkthrough today. Who is that guy for the Kings tonight?
I don't know because he seemed to have his way with Harrison Barnes.
Yeah.
I mean, he went to the basket up and over whenever he got ready. You know, Keegan's not going to be available for you tonight. Maybe Trey Lyles. I mean, that's going to be hard to ask of Trey Lyles. He's just now coming back. You know, we don't even know if Sasha's going to go.
Right.
I mean, we're talking about we need a guy that got some size on him.
Right.
So
it's a bonus. It's got to cover Valanciunas.
Alex Lynn is out.
Right.
You know, so
do you go zone?
I was about to say you might want to go a little zone. You know, to where at least you have bodies around there to where when he beats his man, he just don't have a straight line to the rim.
Yeah, obviously. Now, Williamson was the problem in the first half. Kings were down 13 at the half. They were still in the game, but that third quarter was pathetic. They got outscored 34-16, and that was when Brandon Ingram stood up. And, you know, there wasn't a 15-footer he didn't take or make in that game. And how come the Kings couldn't defend that?
Let me tell you, B.I. is a bigger problem. Brandon Ingram is a bigger problem for the Sacramento Kings than Zion is, because I think you can basically load up for Zion and really, you know, gang rebound him or gang guard him. Well, we talking about B.I. This guy mid-range game is one of the best in the business, and he has enough savvy and enough ball handling credentials to where he can get to wherever he wants on the floor, and you know he wants to get to the mid-range.
Yeah.
So he got his mid-range going, and then all of a sudden he's seen a 3 drop.
Yeah.
Then the confidence level does what, Scott? It goes through the roof.
It started raining threes.
It goes through the roof, and there we go.
Yeah.
He's raining threes now. So now you got to stay up on him, and now you push up on the three-point line. He takes 2 dribbles to the midpoint at the free throw line, pull up. That's automatic bucket. That's what Shaq calls barbecue chicken.
No doubt. He was 5 of 5 from distance. The Pelicans were 12 of 28 from distance. They had a 40-point lead at one point in the game. It was a total blowout. You look at the plus minuses, and I know sometimes they're misleading, but if you look at the Kings starting 5, Sabonis minus 36, Fox minus 32, Herter minus 25, Barnes minus 23, and Keegan, who didn't play as much, obviously just 16 minutes, minus 20. So it tells you a lot. I mean, it was the starting 5 that got blown out of that game. I mean, conversely, the Pelicans, Jones was plus 39, Williamson plus 32, Ingram plus 33. So, I mean, really, the starting 5 didn't get it done.
Well, Scott, I mean, let's think about it. It had to be your starting 5. Your reserves are all hurt.
That's true. It is a mash unit right now. That is true. That's true.
Your reserves are all hurt. We're going to have to call up some of the guys from the G League. Jordan Ford, where are you, bro?
Yeah.
I mean,
we saw Colby Jones, who, I mean, is obviously on the Kings team, but had been down in Stockton. We even saw Slauson.
Hey, he went deep.
He did. You're right.
Had to, because there's a lot of nagging injuries going on with the Kings right now.
Yeah, there is. So it's going to be interesting because I don't know. Obviously, I know what needs to be done differently. It's obvious what needs to be done differently. But as we're discussing all of this, how you execute it.
Wait. So it's obvious what needs to be done. Is it one or two things?
Well, obviously, you've got to stop Williamson from going left. Zion cannot just have straight lines like you're talking about, and somehow you got to double team Brandon Ingram when he gets hot or do something else. Okay. I can sit here at the Sactown Sports Studios and say that, but you're not going to put me out there to take a Zion charge either.
I got one more thing that they need to do.
Let's hear number 3.
Kings got to make shots.
Yes, they do. That always helps.
They have to make shots, Scooter.
You're right. They were 38% from the floor, 24% from downtown.
When was the last time?
It was Brick City out there.
When was the last time we talked about 24%? And your number one guy, your number one scorer, De'Aaron, was a heavy part of that.
He had an off night for sure. He was 5 of 18 floor, 2 of 12 from 3, had 14 points.
Can I say this though?
Yeah.
I know we lost, and it's a bad loss, but oh well. But I tell you what, the dude kept going. De'Aaron, I still salute you, my man, because I'd much rather see you go 2 for 12 than to go 1 for 2 and we lose by 40. That at least let me know you was trying.
Yeah, he kept shooting the basketball.
And that's what you do.
Of course, as he should be. The reigning Western Conference Player of the Week. We'll see what the Kings can do. They do get another opportunity, so that's the bright spot. They get a chance to avenge what was a very bad game on Monday night. We'll see. The other thing that we saw, obviously, is that the Pelicans, when they're pretty much at full strength, and they are missing McCollum, and that's a big piece. You know, we understand that. And
huge piece.
It is. But with Zion back.
Larry Nance Jr.
That's a piece.
Big piece, too.
You know, and Trey Murphy, who's got the knee problem.
Right.
But true. But they got Alvarado back for the first time all season. They got Zion back in the lineup. It's obvious that the Pels are going to be a force when they're fully healthy.
No, I mean, they're a good team. Come on, Scott. Let's keep it real. It was the reason why they were number 1 last year.
Yes.
You know, they played some great basketball at one particular time when they were healthy. Now, we go back to that old cliche, you know, can all these teams play and keep everybody healthy? Don't think so. You know, injuries is a part of the game. So, but New Orleans is not a team where you can just thumb your nose at and say, they're not that good. No, they have pieces. They are a good basketball club.
It's a quality team, no doubt. And the Kings obviously have a tough challenge tonight. We'll see how they respond when they get a chance to do that. All right, game night's underway. We'll be with you until 4:30. Game night being brought to you by Elk Grove Dodge Ram. Don't miss out on their Black Friday sales event. That's right, Black Friday. It's less than 48 hours away. Game night being brought to you right here. Sactown Sports, 1140.
Harrison Bar.
Alrighty, we're live on YouTube.
All right, Kyle, how are you, my man?
I am doing wonderful today. Scott, how are you?
Good. Do you put in the poll questions or who's?
Yeah, I'm the person who's adding the poll questions.
All right, so you've got up here Kings win by 10 plus, Pels win by 10 plus, Kings win by less than 10 or the Pels win by less than 10? That's the poll question so far.
That is the poll question. I have not checked how many votes we have so far, but
we have a total of 4 votes so far.
All right, I just made it like 3 minutes ago.
Fair
So
enough. Well,
I had a
obviously
feeling.
you wrote the question, so what do you think tonight? Are the Kings able to respond tonight?
Well, I'm no prognosticator, and I've learned that it's impossible to
You're in
to
Sports
knock that
Talk
stuff.
Radio. You have to be.
I know. So the line says that it's going to be Kings 1.5 tonight, which is basically a coin toss game. It's interesting because we don't know exactly who's going to be starting for the Kings, but according to our guy Frankie during shoot around, it looked like they had in the starter group Barnes at the 4 and Duarte at the 3. So it looks like that's going to be the plan, and then Lyles kind of slides into the backup 4.
Have we heard anything about a minutes restriction for Trey Lyles?
Nothing
I
that
haven't seen anything. I'm just curious.
No, Drapes didn't have any update on the afternoon show either, so we'll see.
Okay.
But if not, then we'll see some more Kessler Edwards.
And he can play defense. I mean, maybe he's a guy you throw up on Brandon Ingram. I mean, who knows what Mike Brown might do to start this game tonight?
Kessler Edwards wouldn't be a bad choice to go on BI. And I might want to run him a little bit at Zion also, because he's a guy that's 6'7", that has a little bit of size on him. I'm not saying that he's going to be able to match him power for power, but you're 6'7", and you're athletic and you're long.
Yeah. I mean, of all the choices you have, it feels like it's probably as good as anybody else, truthfully.
Really, when you look at the roster, Scott, man for man, pound for pound, do Kings have anybody that can do anything with him?
Not really.
I mean, they had Keegan taking him on at times in the last game, and he hurt his back. He's a Mack truck.
That's why I said, man for man, pound for pound, do you have anybody that can do anything?
No,
with
there's
him?
anybody in the league for that matter. I mean,
he's incredible.
Such a beast, right?
Despite the fact that you're saying he only goes left, this is an amazing stat. He's shot 0 3-point attempts this year in the entire season, and he's going to waltz into the All-Star game because he's just that incredible down low.
Well, and the thing of it is, too, with Valanciunas also, it's not like you can switch over Sabonis on him. I mean, I guess if you're playing McGee and Sabonis together, you might put that combination out there, but that's pretty rare.
And I still wouldn't have Sabonis on Zion.
Yeah. If you had the two bigs out, would you put JaVale on
Yes.
Zion? Okay.
Yes, because Zion, when he goes, and you're going to pretty much get a lot of fouls. Yeah. You don't want Sabonis in foul trouble. If Sabonis gets into foul trouble, the Kings are in trouble.
No doubt. And Sabonis was kind of in foul trouble on Monday. Yep. Yeah, he only took 8 shots.
And it's like we said on Monday, the person we wanted guarding Zion was Keegan, and they did some of that, and now Keegan's hurt, and it doesn't feel like we have a suitable replacement, at least defensively.
No, I would agree. It's why you have to run them and be in transition and shoot the ball well, bottom line.
Yeah, that'll change the game for us. We're back in 10 seconds.
All right.
Professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Welcome back into Game Night right here, Sactown Sports, 1140. Scott Marshall with the High Flyer, Henry Turner. Again, if you are starting your holiday commute a little early, if you're out there on the roadways, take it easy, drive safe, relax, and chill back with us. We'll take you all evening long. Kings basketball, Kings and Pels tonight. Game 2 of the 2-game set as Sacramento tries to even out the season series against the Pelicans. Game night brought to you by the Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Sacramento. If you have a heart of service, you want to do something good for children who need a mentor in this community, please check out Big Brothers Big Sisters, especially this time of year upcoming. Phone number 916-646-9300 or visit bbbs-sac.org to learn about becoming a volunteer mentor. All right, for the Kings, we were talking about it, but obviously injuries becoming a little bit of an issue. Keegan Murray out back. We don't know duration that he could miss time. You mentioned Vasenkov. He's a little banged up. We don't know if he's going tonight. Keon Ellis continues to be out. It appears Chris Duarte, who hurt his thumb, will play. Kevin Herter, who played on Monday, will play. But most notably of anybody coming back tonight. Trey Lyles is scheduled to make his debut tonight. We don't know if there's a minutes restriction or how he'll be used with Coach Brown tonight, but it's certainly great to have Trey Lyles back. He was injured in the preseason in a pregame warm-up against the Warriors, just one of those freak injuries to his calf. You and I were concerned just, about how long it might take for him to get back. It's a great thing for the Kings to have Trey Lyles back.
Trey Lyles is another one of the glue guys that really stepped up last year and showed that he could definitely help this basketball team. Scott, if you remember, Trey Lyles was one of the last of the guys who got traded here. He was one of the last guys to hit the floor.
Yeah.
The last guy to see some substantial time. And when he got out there, man, I mean, he really performed. He showed up and showed out. And now that he was a big part at the end of what the Kings did, especially when they had to elect to go small when Sabonis got into foul trouble, and they put Trey at that 5. And for what he brings, he can knock down a 3.
Yeah.
He has a high basketball IQ. He has enough ball handling ability to where he can put the ball on the floor and make 2 or 3 dribbles and beat his guy off the bounce and get to the basket and score.
Yeah, he can create matchup problems for other teams on the offensive side because, case in point, last year Minnesota came in when Sabonis fouled out, and he took over that overtime and a big win for them. He's a guy who can stretch the floor and force bigs to have to come out and play.
Right. I mean, it really just took Rudy Gobert out the game.
Yeah.
Because Rudy was hanging in the middle, blocking shots and grabbing rebounds. And when they was forced to go to small because Sabonis got into foul trouble, Trey went to the 5. Well, Trey knocked down 2 threes, and now Rudy Gobert's game is over because he's got to step out around the rim.
No doubt. And Trey Lyles will be back for that game on Friday. Remember, the Kings finish up the 6-game road trip in Minneapolis on Friday night. Trey last year averaged 7.5 points. He played about 17 minutes per game. He shot over 36% from 3. And, again, just being a key part of that reserve unit. So that's the other big piece of it.
And now, Scooter, you want to talk about how do you just try to slow Zion down.
Mm-hmm.
This would be a nice thing to see. All right. You put Trey on him, right?
Yeah.
And if he elects to guard Trey, you go right back at Zion.
Mm-hmm.
You make Zion work.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You make him play some defense. Now, as powerful and as strong as he is, he isn't the most guy that want to get up and down and, play a high octane type basketball game. So if you can manage to run and then use Trey a little bit in the pick and rolls to make Zion move his feet, that'll take him out the game a little bit.
Yeah. Zion looks like he's in much better condition, but to your point, you want to test his conditioning.
He still ain't the guy that want to go out. Yeah. I think Zion still can't get into a full out sprint. The only thing he can do is get into a nice trot.
Yeah, I agree.
He got too much muscle, man.
He is a big man. He is a big boy. There's no doubt about it. Keegan, obviously, he's going to be out that back. Hopefully, it's nothing too serious. We've talked about this. Curious to still get your thoughts about it. His 3-point shooting, obviously, was record pace as a rookie. Last year, 41% on the catch and shoot threes. This year, he's under 30. I know the sample size is still small. Any concern whatsoever?
I'm not concerned, but, it's one of these things, too, Scott, and it could be fixed. All right. Keegan Murray was pressed on his size and his strength, right?
Yep.
Rookie year.
Yep.
You're getting pushed around. You need to get bigger. You don't have enough size. You don't have enough strength. Well, I'll tell you what, when you start working on your size, bulking up, getting more muscle, what's the first thing that leaves? Your touch.
Yeah.
Your touch. So that's something that Keegan Murray is going to have to work on to get back. He will. You'll get back. But when you first start putting on those pounds and getting stronger and getting bigger, you really have to put in a lot of work of shooting.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think it's all part of maybe adjusting and
yeah, for sure it is.
Yeah, that seems fair enough. Kings obviously have some effectiveness tonight. They got to get out and run. Just in general,
have to speed it up. If you are going to elect to get into a half-court game with Zion, number one, he's going to kill you in a half-court game because he gets the rest, all right, and then he gets the bully ball you around the rim. If you're going to get into a half-court game with Brandon Ingram, yes, one of the best mid-range game guys in the league, it's asinine because you're playing to their strengths. This dude can get anywhere in the mid-range and score. He's 6'10", 6'11", and long as train smoke. He's going to get the ball up. So when he gets to that free throw line, he's just going to turn around and raise up over you.
Does he have the best mid-range game in the league right now? I mean, everybody says DeMar DeRozan thinks of him as the ultimate mid-range game. Where would you put BI?
You know what? I think they say it about DeMar because he's smaller.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you would think that a guy like DeMar would just really light it up from three because he's a guard.
Mm-hmm.
BI mid-range game is crazy, man. I'm telling you, when
he's good.
Him and Kevin Durant with that mid-range game, because they both are long and lean.
Yeah.
For those guys in their size, you can't stop them when they get into 17 foot and in.
Yeah, no doubt. Obviously, Durant, maybe one of the best mid-range games in history. There's no question about that one. And he had it going last night, by the way, as well, too. Suns winning last night. Durant went for over 30 points, but that's just commonplace for Durant. All right, we'll take the break. When we come back, we're going to go around the league. We'll take a look at the games last night. They were all tournament games, and there were some thrillers last night that these teams are playing hard, trying to get into the Vegas tournament. Game night brought to you by Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. Check out their full line of luxury vehicles at mbofstockton.com. More of Game Night coming your way right here. Sactown Sports 1140.
Alrighty, we are here on YouTube, hanging out, having fun. Also, we'll nominate Devin Booker for best mid-range game in the league because I know it's changed a little bit now that he's paired with Kevin Durant and they have different floor spacing. But when it was him and Chris Paul, that was Devin Booker in the mid-range was
good. All right,
unbeatable.
let's see if we can rank top five. I'm curious.
Okay,
who's on your list, Kyle?
Well, it might
you just
take...
said Booker, number one. Okay.
I mean, let's take the people we already said. So we got Ingram, Kevin Durant, DeRozan. We just need one more.
Who else in that mid-range?
Let's think.
He said Book, Kevin Durant.
Yep.
Right.
Got
DeMar,
Ingram,
Brandon Ingram.
And BI.
Kawhi, right?
Yeah.
Kawhi's pretty good. I don't know if I'd go top five.
Threes. I mean,
yeah. Kawhi is a good one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure we're forgetting someone who's
of course,
in this group.
Of course we are.
I'm just kind of going through teams in my head real quick.
You know what? You might could throw Paul George in there too.
And Jimmy Butler. I mean,
JB.
Also
there you go right there. JB.
I think Jimmy Butler's the
JB.
guy.
That's him.
Okay.
That's the five right there. You can stop.
It's a good list.
Yeah.
Let's get out and roll the ball out right now.
If it was 3 or 4 years ago, I used to pencil in Chris Middleton in this game, but I don't think his game is still there like that. But I think you picked a winner with Jimmy.
All right,
Jimmy's got to be
Jimmy
the guy.
Buckets. Are people feeling optimistic about this game so far?
Let's check the poll results.
You feeling good? Like the Kings will put up a good fight tonight?
They better.
Yeah,
they better. I mean, I'm with the mindset of you have to. You can't lose another game like that in the same type of scenario. You can't.
The people are agreeing with the Las Vegas lines that the Kings will win by 1 to 9 points. That's our leader in the clubhouse right now at 42%.
Okay.
And some people think it'll be a blowout in both directions.
The game is 1.5, right? That's
the last one I saw.
Interesting.
So
I'm surprised, to be honest with you.
Somewhat, yeah. I mean, I think it's a respect factor because the Kings have a better record and because before the last game, they had won 6 in a row. Sure. They were one of the hottest teams in the league.
Yeah, maybe the hottest, right?
I mean, it's right up there for sure. But you're right. The matchup is the matchup was fine before this. Like we thought they'd be able to outscore them, and then they came out and laid an egg on the offensive side of the ball in the game on Monday. So maybe if the Kings show up and they go from scoring, essentially 85 before garbage time to 120 tonight, maybe that evens things out a bit.
Yeah, that's quite possible. All right, anything else in the chat?
We're confirming that Trey Lyles is here. Our guy Manny Too Legit wanted to know if he thought Domas should be more aggressive in the scoring range tonight, given that they're going to be without Keegan Murray and someone's got to pick up the load offensively.
Well, I want to see him shoot more than 8 shots than he did on Monday night, that's for sure. But he's got to stay out of foul trouble.
No, I'm with that.
Yeah.
Domas, I don't care who's on the floor. I don't care who we are playing. Domas has to shoot the ball more than 8 times. That's one of the things that really, really bothers me. I said it early on with De'Aaron. I'd much rather see you go 2 for 20 than to go 1 for 2.
Yep.
You are the catalyst of this team. You have to be aggressive. If you're not aggressive, none of the other guys are aggressive. We can't win. So you have to be aggressive every night you step out there on the floor.
Also forgot Jason Tatum. He's in that mid-range conversation.
Sure. Now, he's got
from
a
earlier
three-game too, though.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a versatile all-around shooter.
But so does Devin Booker.
That's why I don't think of Booker as a mid-range guy. I wasn't going to say that to you.
Wasn't going to bust your bubble.
No. But I wouldn't put him up there when I think of classic mid-range guys. I think of him as just everything.
Yeah, that's fair.
DeMar DeRozan is a mid-range guy.
That is because he can't shoot threes.
That's just what he elects to do, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, we're coming back in 10.
All right.
From here on Fox. KHTKAM Sacramento. KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Sactown Sports.
Welcome back into game night right here. Sactown Sports, 1140. Scott Marshall along with the high flyer Henry Turner getting you ready for Kings and Pels, part 2. 5 o'clock tip, G-Man with the call in the Crescent City. Kings Live pregame coming your way at 4:30. Jason Ross will be in for that. We'll break down more of the Kings and the Pels when we come back in the next break, but let's go around the league. First, game night is always brought to you by Power Business Technology. Experience how the Power family can help your business office equipment needs today. Contact them at 844-POWER-BZ or go to powercopiers.com. Some fun games last night, Henry. There weren't a lot of games, but there were some really good games last night. Let's take a look at that Indiana-Atlanta game. Quickly doing the math, 309 points scored between them, all in regulation. It was like one of the top 10 highest scoring regular or 48-minute games, non-overtime games in NBA history. Pacers ended up winning that game 157-152.
Man, y'all, I love the way you put respect on this, Scott.
Tyrese Halliburton, 37 points, 16 more assists.
Tyrese Halliburton is just doing his thing, man. I mean, he is really in his bag. He's leading that basketball team. And, Scott, I say it all the time. He was a Sacramento King. He'll always be a king in my mind. And I will always root for that guy because he's a hell of a dude.
No doubt. I heard Drapes say that Tyrese Halliburton right now would be an MVP consideration.
Probably.
Yeah.
De'Aaron Fox will be too.
Absolutely. And Kyle did make that point as well. So, but the way he's playing right now is incredible.
I mean, no doubt. I mean, he's in his bag. He's doing what he does best. And, this is Tyrese's third year now? So for him to be doing these type of things only in his third year, he's still going to get better.
No doubt. The best is yet to come from that young man. Trae Young had 38 in the loss. And again, these games on Tuesdays and Fridays are all these playing games. And not saying that teams aren't playing hard 7 days a week, but that game had a feeling of playoff intensity. It felt like the game meant something more than a regular season game.
It's got this in-season tournament. It brings a different wrinkle. I'm not going to say that, guys just mail it in early on in the season, but it does give you a sense of urgency. Yes, all of them are in the 82-game season, but this tournament gives you a sense of urgency because you have to play well early on to advance in this tournament. Yeah. And in the overall scheme of things, if you don't play well the first 20, 25 games of the NBA, but you get it right on the quarterback end, you can still make the playoffs and do what you need to do. So it still can be done. But with this tournament, you have to come out, you have to be on fire early on.
Do or die. So Indiana, in their bracket, they're 3-0 now. Atlanta falls to 1-2. So that was a big time win for the Pacers in terms of that play. And also another big game last night with the play-in tournament ramifications.
There you go. Get it out, Scott.
It took a while, but I got there. Cavs beating the Sixers 122-119. This was a terrific game as well that did go overtime. The Cavs winning in the extra session after the 76ers came back in the fourth quarter from a 9-point deficit to tie things up. Darius Garland stepping up, and no Donovan Mitchell, but they still won this game. Garland had 32 points.
It just goes to show, the mindset of a guy like DG. He understands that Mitchell is their number one. He is their alpha. But Darius Garland can definitely be a guy who can put that team on his back and still will them to win.
Yeah, no doubt. And so, with that too, Philadelphia is probably not going to make it to Vegas. They've got to have some unusual things happen because Indiana's 3-0. Cleveland now is 2-1. So Cleveland would have to lose, and then there'd have to be that point differential and all these things, which I'm not calculating yet, but most likely Philadelphia is going to be on the outside looking in. And I'm not saying Joel Embiid is going to worry about that a lot, but they were playing for that last night.
And see, and that's the thing, Scott. Well, we're looking at Philly as, okay, a potential team to come out of the East at the end. Well, early on, if you don't play well early on, well, this tournament thing, you're done for, but you're still in the running for the big cup.
Sure. Lakers blowing out the Jazz 131-99. And so the Lakers, they finished 4-0 in their bracket. They've seemed to for whatever reason play well on play-in game nights. They've certainly risen their level there.
So what you're saying is this trip going to Vegas and raise some eyebrows of some of these players, just like, hey.
All I know is LeBron and AD have played at all 4 of those games.
Hey, we want to go to Vegas. I mean, regular season, we ain't worried about it. We know Las Vegas.
On Inside the NBA, they were talking about it. Shaq said the teams absolutely don't care at all about the trophy, but they do care about that $500,000 paycheck. Is it the competition or is it the money?
I would say probably a little bit of both, Scott. I mean, think about it. That's $500,000. I mean, I don't. You have to be making the De'Aaron and Sabonis money not to care about $500,000.
Yes,
and hopefully those guys understand is that what it won't make or break them, but for your younger guys, that's a lot of money. So yeah, I will definitely come out and put everything on the line just because I want you guys to have something special.
Yep, absolutely. AD in that game was 26-16 in the victory for the Lakers.
And Scott, and I will say this too. I will say this. I think for the inaugural part of it, I think a lot of players want to be
that first one.
You want to be that, first ones to make it to Vegas, and because it's always going to be a trivia question. Oh, well, who's in the finals of the Vegas for the first one?
Yep.
Who won the first championship for the cup? It's always going to be that. So it's kind of like a history-making thing.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. I think you're right about that. Suns beat the Blazers 120-107. Phoenix is now 8-6 on the year. And the round out things, Toronto, their season continues to just wobble. They lose to the Magic 126-107. The Raptors are now just 6-8 on the season as we are in Raptor trade watch along with the Bulls. We'll see what happens there.
Trading Pascal Siakam. Pascal Siakam.
We will see what happens. All right, games tonight. They're not playing games, but a lot of games in the association. Wizards and Hornets. You've got the Nuggets and the Magic. Nets and Hawks, Bucks and Celtics. Now that's a tasty little game right there.
Nice little nugget right there.
Yeah. How about Drew Holiday? He came out and said he's not bitter, but would have been nice if he got a little warning about his trade. But he's happy because he's on the team that can now beat his former team.
Let me tell you something. You're going to say all the right things, Scott.
Yep.
I'm not bitter. I'm not upset. And this is after, you put out a tweet that I want to retire in Milwaukee, but you get traded. I'm not bitter. I'm not upset. As soon as I walk in this arena, I'm trying to cut your head off.
Yeah.
I'm going right at you guys. It's more than personal. I'm coming at you like you done slapped my mama. It's on like popcorn.
Yeah, there's no question. You're right about that. Let's not kid ourselves. All right, Giannis is averaging 30 and 10, nearly 5 assists this far in the season.
He's averaging?
Yep, 30.2, 10.2 rebounds, and 4.6 assists.
I mean, we were talking about some of the guys with the best mid-range game. This dude is doing it and really isn't a three-point threat.
Not at all.
I wonder why we call him free. Freakish numbers.
Exactly what he is. Tatum, 28 and 9 and 4. So you've got 2 MVP candidates right there going against each other. These are the 2 best teams in the East. I know right now, at least I'm gonna guess you will say you like the Celtics a little bit more than the Bucks. Am I right in saying that?
Yes, I do. I mean, but
It's close.
I was like, it ain't by much.
No,
it ain't by much because I like the freak. I think that you still can coach and plan around him to stop him. You know how I feel about D-Lil. D-Lil's my guy. But I think overall, when you start talking about a better team, I would like to go with Boston because I love their 1-2 punch. And I honestly think Jason Tatum understands now who he has to be when it comes down to crunch time.
Yep.
He's got to be that guy. Bringing Drew over was just the icing on the cake. It was like the player that they needed.
Yeah.
And they came up big with that. So, it's going to be interesting to watch those guys if they match up like that.
Oh, it's going to be a great series. It'll be on. In terms of just best four, obviously Holiday, Tatum, Brown, and the unicorn, Porzingis.
Right.
Versus, let's just say, a fully healthy Middleton, Lillard, Lopez, and Giannis. What do you think?
Bro, I mean,
that's tough
like
to choose.
I said, it's right there.
That's a Picasso and a Rembrandt.
Right.
There. That's a Jordan or a LeBron.
You know what? Pick your poison, bro. Whichever one you want.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough. So, like I said, that's going to if they go head up, it's going to be very interesting to watch.
It's going to be epic.
I'll buy it.
Me too. All right, Heat and Cavs tonight. The Heat have won 8 of their last 9. Jimmy Buckets is playing well. Let's see here. Raptors and Pacers tonight, back-to-back for Indiana. The Grizz and the Rockets. So they hook up again here. The Grizz are 3-10. The Rockets are 6-6. And Sengun is playing some great basketball right now for Houston.
We woke him up.
Yeah.
We gave him confidence. Playing big-time ball, man. I mean, I think he's tailor-made for what Houston and Coach Ime has going on. Big guy who can pass the ball. They run the offense. I mean, he plays a lot like Sabonis. He really does. I think his outside jump shot is probably a little bit better than Sabonis' jump shot. But to have a big guy to where you can run the offense through him and put a bunch of scores and slashers around him, that's exactly what they do.
No doubt. All right, Sixers and T-Wolves. Of course, the Kings play Minnesota there on Friday. This is a great matchup to watch tonight, too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Battle of the big fellas. Minnesota has it going. I think the big three there has bought in and they understand their roles. Karl Anthony Towns, I think it starts with him.
Now here I have to update this. Embiid is sitting out this game.
Oh,
hip issue. He will not play tonight.
Oh, well, that changes the whole scenario.
It sure does.
That changes the whole scenario.
It does.
Without Embiid, the big fellas should have their way.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, and if Karl Anthony Towns does not set the tone tonight, he ain't the player we thought he should be.
No doubt.
Because without the big fella down there, Karl Anthony Towns, who's stopping you?
This is his night.
Yeah.
All right, Bulls and Thunder, Clippers and Spurs part 2 as well. The Clippers absolutely annihilated San Antonio on Monday. Warriors and Suns. There you go. That's a good matchup. It's a game we've always said could be a Western Conference Finals matchup. We said that all last year. I don't know if we feel that way about it right now. The Warriors had a terrible homestand. They did win their last game there, but they lost 5 of 6 at home. They're 7-8 overall. The funny thing is they're 5-2 on the road.
5-2 on the road. Last year couldn't find a win on the road. They were just dominant at Chase Center. So I mean, that just goes to show it's all within those guys. It's what's in the team. Where are we at with the Steph watch? Is Steph back?
Steph is back and playing and looking great.
Okay, Steph is Steph.
Yeah, hitting big shots. Yeah.
Still missing Draymond. Draymond won't come back until we play them.
On the 28th.
I think he kind of scared everybody else. He want to debut with us, but that's all right. We're going to get him.
Yep.
But missing him still is a big part for Golden State.
No doubt. All right, but anytime you can watch Curry and Durant play, you are in for a treat. All right, Jazz and Blazers, and then the Mavs and the Lakers tonight. Luka and LeBron.
L and L. Who gonna cry the most? Who gonna cry to the referees the most?
It'll be 48 minutes of whining.
First team all crybabies. Well, both of them.
We'll see who wins that one. All right, when we come back, we're going to focus in on the Kings and the Pelicans. Sacramento trying to get a split in New Orleans. We'll talk about it on the game night when we come back. Game night's brought to you by National Garage Door. Call today for your basketball special, 916-638-4554. More of game night right here, Sactown Sports, 1140.
Alrighty, we're live on the YouTubes for one more segment. I was joking about this on Styles and Watkins today. Who would have thought at the start of the season, Orlando and Minnesota, top 2 defensive teams in the NBA? How about that?
So I heard Minnesota. Who's the second one?
Orlando is number 1.
Magic playing some good ball right now.
I honestly did not know that until you said it on Monday. You were like, Orlando's looking good. And I looked up, was like, oh, hey, they are.
They've gotten off to a great start. And, Paulo Banchero is matching his rookie year, and he stepped up a notch too. We talk about Keegan here with good reason, but Banchero season 2, he's off to a great start.
He's a legit number 1.
He is.
On a team that is going to be at least close to the playoffs.
And the crazy thing about it is that he is a legit number 1 that has been asked to do everything for his team, and he has answered the bell.
No doubt.
Usually we really frown on that when teams draft these young guys and say, hey, you got to play Herculean or we don't win. Well, they've asked him, and he's like, okay, let's do it.
He's put everybody on his back and performing. Markelle Fultz is back. It's great to see him fully healthy, kind of reaching his first pick potential a little bit, maybe not at that
He's a
level.
Decent NBA player, right?
The Wagner brothers are playing well.
Yeah, both of them have been excellent.
Yeah.
Orlando, I should start watching Orlando basketball. I don't know when I'll have a chance to watch Orlando basketball, but I should watch Orlando basketball.
They come out here in January.
Nice. Maybe we'll go to the game.
Here's a question here, and I don't know if you have the answer, Kyle. Our good friend Mike Birnbaum in the chat. Is it possible for the Kings to finish 4-0 and face the Lakers in Vegas? I think it absolutely is, right?
Yeah.
The Lakers are going to be there.
So the Lakers are already 4-0.
Yeah, they're already clinched.
Yeah, and they've clinched home court in that round of 8 because in our group,
seed,
I think in Group B, someone already lost, or everyone's already lost one, and then in our bracket, someone has to lose between us and Minnesota. So they're going to get a home court, and then they would play either the wild card team or one of the division winners, probably Group B, because I would assume us and Minnesota are both 2-0, so they would. The winner of that group would presumably be 4-0 also, but we'll see what happens. And then if both of us win, then it would be Lakers and Sacramento in the semifinal or the Western Conference final of the Las Vegas portion of the in-season tournament.
Hey, Ray, let me ask you this. If the Kings and Lakers match up in a Vegas game, how much meaning does that have? Does it have extra meaning because it's the Lakers? Where would you put that?
No.
Okay.
I don't think it'd have extra meaning. Okay. I'll tell you what, though, if the Kings and Golden State could have got to Vegas, that would have been epic.
Okay. So you see the Warriors way ahead of the Lakers right now in terms of the rivalry.
Oh, of course. Oh, yeah. Come on, man. This is the New Jack thing. We let all the old stuff go. Okay. We on to what's happening now.
But there is a world where Kings, if the Timberwolves lose their last game to whoever they're playing, there's a world where Kings versus Warriors is to clinch a spot in the play-in tournament.
That would be on Tuesday night.
Yep, that could be the winner take all. If Minnesota lose, I think they play. Who's the fourth team other than the Spurs? Oh, they play the Thunder. So if they lose to the Thunder, then maybe.
Yeah, they could lose to the Thunder.
Yeah, we're coming back in 5. Also, we're out at 24.
Welcome back into game night right here, Sactown Sports, 1140 final segments. We'll take you until the bottom of the hour. Jason Ross and High Flyer will pick it back up. Kings Live pregame at 4:30. Tip tonight, 5 o'clock. G-Man with the call. Kings have been on this long 6-game road trip. It's game 5 of it tonight. We knew the second half would be tougher than the first half. Obviously, the Kings got off to the great start, 3-0. Troubles Monday. We'll see how they rebound tonight. Tough game Friday in Minnesota. But Henry, before this whole thing started, we said if the Kings went 3-3, that would have to be considered a decent trip.
Still,
So they're still playing with house money right now.
Still, right now, yes. It's a win. It's a positive trip when you can go 500 on the road. So seeing that the Kings came out and really took care of business in the first half, you still feel good, but you want to do above what you can. At the end of the day, you want to win these last 2 games, but if you don't, it's not a travesty because you took care of business early on.
You did. It's human nature, right? If the Kings had lost the first game on the trip, but they win the final 3, then you're like feeling great coming home, just because it's a reverse situation. But
we look at these things, Scott, and 5-6 game increments, and for the Kings, this is a 6-game road trip. Whether you lose on the front end, whether you lose on the back end,
right?
It really don't matter. It's just all about how you look at it, because in the overall scheme of the 82, you want to go at least 500 on the road, don't matter how you get it.
Of course. Now, with the Pelicans, of course, you think about season series, right? And you don't want to let the Pels get ahead of you there. You just never know after 82 games how things could shake out.
Yeah. That's one of those things to where a win is first most in your mind, but you think about the series, it's back in the back.
Right.
You worry about it, but it's not right now. It's like, just get the win.
Yeah, agreed. All right, for Zion, we talked about it. Maybe a little zone tonight. Who knows? I like the 5-man approach on the right side of the lane. Just line them up one against the other, back to back to back, and say, Zion, try and do something else tonight.
Hey, line up 5 guys and say, jump on his right-hand side. Yeah, but I'm telling you, being able to stay in front of BI and really contest him at that mid-range game. And for the Sacramento Kings, the most important thing, make shots.
Yeah, absolutely. Always
make shots.
It's a make or miss league. Come on. We break down everything else, but at the end of the day, it's still a make or miss league.
Yeah, when you talk about the Kings defense, okay, we know it's only going to get so good. I mean, they probably won't ever be, a 1-2-3 defensive squad this year. But at the end of the day, they have to keep that number 1 offense going because that's how they win games.
No doubt. All right. What'd you think of Jordan Hawkins, the rook, and Dyson Daniels, the second-year guy out of Australia?
It was hard to just straight.
It was such a blowout.
It was hard to analyze those guys because,
fair enough.
The Kings wasn't playing, up to par.
No.
So, I thought everybody that played on New Orleans came out and really pushed the pace and tried to do what they had to do.
Well, they were all plus 30 in terms of the plus minus in their starting 5.
And they were shooting the ball at a very high clip. So, when they shoot those type of numbers, any and everybody that come off the bench is going to look good.
Fair enough. Hopefully it's a different deal tonight for the Kings. That's going to do it for game night. Henry, I've got to know what's on the plate tomorrow for Turkey Day.
Scooter, everything that's in the pot is going to be on the plate. Not once, not twice, but maybe 3 times, because I'm going ham this Thursday.
Going ham? Really?
Ham.
Wow. You're not doing the deep fried turkey?
No. The acronym H-A-M.
I missed that.
Oh, no, Scott, you missed it.
Sorry.
You see the pun in that?
I get it now.
There you go.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I missed it. Well, enjoy your day. I know your Niners will be on as well.
You're going to check that out. Exactly.
You'll have a lot of good stuff. Hopefully it'll be a good way to go in with the Kings victory tonight. Game night, we're done. Coming up next, Kings Live pregame. Jason Ross will be here for that. He'll be along with the High Flyer. Then, of course, G-Man with the call. It's a 5 o'clock tip. Keep it here all evening long. Make your commute easy as you're heading to Grandma's house or wherever you're going to celebrate. We hope you have the best Thanksgiving. Very happy to you and your family. And we appreciate you listening here. Sactown Sports, 1140. Have a great night, everyone.
Local bragging rights are on the line this Sunday for the Causeway Classic.
Thank you,
in
YouTube
basketball.
people. We will see you on Friday.
Ahead of everybody.
Just realized I was talking over the commercial. Bye, YouTube people. We will see you on Friday.
Straight to the rim. Layup. Got it with 0.8 seconds to go. And the Aggies have done it.
Play-by-play begins Sunday at 5 on Sactown.